Did you guys take like a finance class in school or anything like that? Or?
I'm just poor.
I did.
So I'm just aware.
Well, that's what, it's just crazy that it's like I took one per.
Oh, there are also Brawlhalla and For Honor.
Bro.
They own Brawlhalla now? What?
Yeah, well, it's on their website.
Yeah, I guess they own it. I mean, they're Ubisoft. They can buy whatever they want. But, I mean, they can't make whatever game they want, apparently, though.
Apparently not.
No.
They've clearly just... what did they actually cancel? So they canceled the Prince of Persia Sands of Time remake.
Which would have been fucking nuclear.
Yeah, that probably would have, like... I feel like if that had done well, it probably would have single-handedly like revived a lot of people's trust in them as a company, which I think would be still misplaced, but probably would have.
Yeah.
Well. Like I showed a Dynamite Dan and he was like, Ubisoft makes it like so hard to be an Ubisoft apologist, and I was like, Dan, there is another option. You can just not be a Ubisoft apologist.
Yeah, you could just say fuck them. You could just fuck Ubisoft.
You can just say
you
fuck
could
them.
just have sex with Ubisoft.
A few people have noted that while they canceled a bunch of games, they actually went out of their way to say that or at least not deconfirm Beyond Good and Evil 2. And Beyond Good and Evil 2 has been in development for so long, but they are so committed to not deconfirming that. I think I don't know if they hold the longest vaporwave or vaporware title. I think that probably still goes to
the
vaporware.
Style?
No, vaporware.
Oh.
But I think probably Captain Blood might hold that. I think that was
don't say the second word.
That was originally revealed in 2015. Actually, no, I think that Beyond Good and Evil 2 probably holds the longest vaporware title. Beyond Good and Evil 2. Let me see when this was actually announced.
Nobody asked.
It was originally announced in 2008.
Okay, good. Yeah,
no,
2008?
It was originally in 2008. Yeah, so that's going on his name is Good.
Welcome back.
Jaxler's name is My name is Evil. And that's Coley _02.
We do have Coley in the building. Coley is our guest today, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome Coley to the house,
What's up, guys. How's it going?
We've really been looking forward to this guest episode, having Coley _02 on the podcast. Illustrious YouTuber,
another white guy on the podcast.
Fanatic.
The fans have been asking for it.
They have been asked for it, and we finally delivered. We've got the Scooby Doo God here. One of the goats of the game, and guys. Last week on the podcast, I said that I was going to watch Cole's video. And I did do it.
Okay, good.
I actually didn't.
I'm here.
Forgot that you said that.
Yeah, I did say that. And, I'm here because I promised a 10-page dissertation. And so I actually made a whole PowerPoint detailing my thoughts.
Oh, shit, we got a manifesto. All right.
About the video and just how it was executed, what was good, what was bad. So...
Okay.
I'm just going to go ahead and start the PowerPoint just immediately. Let's just jump right into it. So first.
Okay.
And that concludes my PowerPoint presentation.
What the hell was that? How did that even happen?
Wow. That was a good bit. You had me there, honestly.
What the hell? I thought you were just joking about a PowerPoint.
No, it's actually... Unironically,
it's just the one slide.
It is just the one slide.
It's just a fucking it's a JPEG. Oh my god.
That is.
You think you know?
Dude, the Nuzlocke rage bait
It was a good video. I just know
That's crazy.
I just don't understand why people are so caught up on the naming scheme of his video. It's just hilarious.
I mean,
and he's so
honestly,
mad about it, and I think that's also funny to me.
No, I'm not mad about it.
He's mad about it.
I mean, I figured it would be a talking point anyway.
You're just farming comments.
It's fine.
Exactly.
Because then at least people
so.
people come to the video and then they comment, this isn't a Nuzlocke. And then you go, okay, and then delete their comment along with your own comment. So then they comment again.
Oh, see, I'm not that toxic.
Yeah,
That's a way better idea than what I've been doing. Because then somebody will be like, nobody's commented this yet? And then they chat away, doing whatever.
Or the other thing too is like they'll come back and be like, "This guy deletes comments," and then you go, "Yeah, I do." So they get the notification and delete him again. Next comment again.
W
That would be
engagement.
fire.
You know how to play ball. What the heck?
You know how to play with your balls.
I do have to say, one of my favorite comments on your video, Cole, was someone just saying, "This mod does not resemble a Nuzlocke in the slightest," and that makes it all the funnier.
Well, I think I'm just
It was
a
close
few
enough.
steps ahead of these people.
Yeah,
I think
I
I'm
think
just
you're-
a few steps ahead.
I do like that somebody like basically says you did this you named this incorrectly, but also this is way harder than a Nuzlocke. So
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Good
like
job.
that guy.
Like
That
the ultimate
guy.
Iron Man
The-
guy. I think that's the guy's top commenter.
It said Nuzlocke refers to progressively losing support characters throughout the game. What you have here is a Scooby-Doo Ultimate Iron Man challenge. Well
Yeah.
done on succeeding at something significantly
Really
harder.
harder.
Yeah, and
And
I mean,
cool,
I've
so-
Yep.
and it's funny because like I've never played a Nuzlocke in my life, so I just thought that the premise was that
Good.
if you die, you die. Like I thought that was it, but it's not.
That'd be a permadeath.
Yeah,
Me
but
when I
I
do
mean, the thing
absolutely
is that
zero
it kinda
research.
is though at the same time because like so many Nuzlocks do have the permadeath rule in it. It's just a technically separate rule. Like kill yourself,
yeah.
bro. Like these are
I mean-
semantics. This is like when Cosmic's trying to tell me that Lily Pichu didn't tell the entire FGC to suck her balls. Like we're just semantics right now.
if
like,
I can
you know what
prove
she
that
meant.
I never touched my
You know?
balls,
And I just had to bring that up just one more time. I think the biggest ball unknowers, if you will say, in his comments are the people referring to as a Kaizo, which it's just like not at all.
Not the
Yeah,
case. If it
I-
were Kaizo, it would be the entire map has fucked up shit in it.
Yeah, and you have to do like 15 frame perfects in a row and like super max height jumps and
Yeah.
like you know what I mean? Like it's
The bosses maybe.
I've said this
but
on stream
like-
as well. Yeah,
So I do have to butt in real quick and say that there's another comment that says this is two comments that just made me just chuckle a little bit now. So one of them says, "I once heard someone claim that it's only a Metroidvania if it's 2D, which would mean this is a Souls-like." And then the comment underneath that says, "Rock rolls."
See, this is why I don't read my comments.
my
Like I
God.
read them like
And
the
it's
first
criminal.
week, and then I'm like, I'm out of here.
And dude, it's
Someone
so
else wanted to
funny.
call it the Rasukis Challenge. Like, I'm just
Rock rolls.
Yeah.
Just
rock or
kills
roll,
me, bro.
shadows die twice, or whatever the fuck that name's called.
oh
Guys.
my god, Sekiro.
The
Go watch the
Rasukis
video, guys.
challenge.
That's the TLDR of this segment.
shucks.
Yeah.
It was good. And
I
we're
agree.
talking about games being canceled. Earlier by Ubisoft, by Poopy Pop, by Poopy Sock.
Poopy Pop.
You know what I mean? And,
Pussy Pop
you know,
Incorporated.
Yeah, without Pussy Pop. And
Pussy pop.
so we kind of subverted near this last week, and it kind of popped in my head. But I do have a Quebin to field for the class today.
Ooh.
Okay.
And
Why?
and that
you
question,
TTS glitching? Like,
no. And that question is okay. So, like back in the day, games released, right? And it was very commonplace for games to have content cut from them. Most notably, like examples like Neopets had content cut from it.
Legacy of Kain.
Legacy of Kain, Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic 2 got content cut and then literally got restored in by like community, by like chipping in and stuff like that, right?
Vampire
And
the
so
Masquerade.
I
Bloodlines.
was wondering what happened to that, because here's my thing. Because games nowadays, like basically games back in the day, you got a polished, unfinished game. Like you got a polished games, but maybe they dropped some parts of it so that maybe it was a little loopy whoopy. But at least the parts that you got were pretty polished, right? But nowadays we get finished games, in quotation marks for audio listeners, but they are not polished at all. It's like completely unpolished slop. And so like, and both of these stem from either not having enough time or not having enough budget or both, in whatever case may be. But like, why do we get that? Because I feel like it is better to have a more unfinished game, but have it be more polished rather than have, here's everything we have, but you can't fucking move through half the game and like it runs at 10 FPS on a 5090. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like what?
So what
where
would
did
be
the shift
your
happen?
Examples. What would be your
Cyberpunk.
examples for like?
Game was finished,
Well,
but it was,
Cyberpunk. So
you know what I mean?
Cyberpunk is like definitely outside the level of variance.
Yes,
You
that is an
know,
outlier.
that
I
is
have
definitely
one
an
thing I would
outlier.
like to bring
I'm
up, which is
just basically saying that it feels more common for people to not cut content and polish the other parts of the game rather than just releasing the whole thing.
So I'll give you an example actually that we brought up, which is Legacy of Kain Soul Reaver. That game had a lot of cut content, but a lot of the content was actually like cut content and like things of that nature, like what actually gets put into a final release of the game. There's kind of this term we use in game dev called scope. Like, what is the scope of this project or this game or this finished release, right? And so often what'll happen, and this has always been the case since the dawn of time, any artistic endeavor, is that you start out all starry-eyed like, oh, I want to do this, 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 and this. And then you realize, oh, I don't have the money to keep doing this. I don't have the space on the disc to keep doing this, or the time, right? So a part of it, I think, is, and this was the case with Legacy of Kain, where they were like, oh, we don't have the time and resources to fully see through the vision of this. Let's take stuff that we've already worked on and reintegrate it into the game in some fashion. So a good example of that in Legacy of Kain is the Human Citadel area and also the Lighthouse area, which were meant to be like part of much bigger like components. There was supposed to be a fifth vampire boss in Soul Reaver 1. There's like a fifth vampire brother that just got cut from the game. But a lot of the areas that they used to lead up to that spot were complete. So they just kind of refashioned them and retooled them. And in the modern era, I think you are much more likely to see that practice of, instead of cutting the content outright, figuring out how to reuse it or develop it in such a like way where if things need to get cut, they can either be retooled or not make a ton of ground in the first place. Cut content often comes from, I would say, it's less of a developer, like the person coding the thing problem, and more of a production problem, right? Where the people planning time, planning resources, planning labor, like make errors or mistakes or just don't do their jobs very well. So I think over time, even though we like to give a lot of shit to game devs, especially AAA game devs,
at AAA
people
game
have
devs.
learned a lot. Yeah, and AAA game devs, people have learned a lot in how to reduce wasted effort, essentially.
Yeah.
Because if you think about it, content is essentially wasted effort or wasted product, right? I think the other thing too that's like a bit more modern day is like it has to do with file size a little bit. So in like older games, like for example, like you had a disc, right? And it could only hold so much space. So and because when you released your game, you had to print it to like a disc. It didn't really make sense to go and like just remove, like if the build worked, like it didn't really make sense time-wise to go and remove that content from like the retail version of the game, if that makes sense. Because that's just wasted labor, right? If it's on the disc but players can't access it, who cares, right? But in the more modern age, where it's a lot of digital downloads, having more cut content in your game means bigger file size. So it makes more sense. And it's also a lot faster. So something as well with, not just with games, but any kind of software, is something called compiling. Once you're done actually like coding the thing and putting all the things together, computer does something called compiling it, which is putting it into a state that the computer can understand and read. And over time, compiling speeds have increased. So because basically if you wanted to remove cut content, you would have to recompile the game. And back in the old days, that was more time that they would have to spend recompiling. But like recompiling the game could take like a whole day or maybe more, depending on the scope and the size of it. You think of something like, I don't know, some of the PlayStation Final Fantasy games where they were across 4 fucking discs, like wasn't really an option. But now that
Final Fantasy VII famously has a ton of stuff that's just left over on those discs. There, like if you go to the cuttingroomfloor.net, I'll actually just link it here in voice chat. This is probably one of the longest entries that I've seen on Cutting Room Floor. There's tons of item icons. There's unused enemies data, unused textures for characters. There's a ton of different stuff. Like there's an entire like glitched map that's there. There's kanji and everything. There's a lot. Yeah, that's right. There's these hidden test enemies as well. And I think that also some of this stuff is like also contained within the dev room, probably. That's like part of why you can just fight triangles to get the most powerful stuff in the game.
Because some of it's for dev testing as well. Like a lot of the cut content in Neopets especially is for dev testing. And that kind of allows them to, like, if they make a release build of the game and want to actually try it on the real hardware, then they have the ability to kind of test things. And then all it takes to, turn that shit off is just flip a switch somewhere or hide it behind a cheat code or something, like with the Jak and Daxter games, right? So
I think also famously there's a lot of areas in Shadow of the Colossus where they've found like entire miles of colossi that were cut from the game. I don't remember the original scope of like how many bosses you were supposed to be fighting in Shadow of the Colossus, but it is significantly lower than what was in the final game. But people did find like a lot of stuff in there. I actually don't know if I've ever checked out the thing of this, because Shadow of the Colossus is quite honestly one of the most, I guess, like cult-like games in terms of like how much people
read into the cut content.
Read into it. Yeah. Okay. Here it is for the original 2005 release. There's a ton of stuff in here. There's even even a light editor in here. What the hell?
Oh yeah.
But yeah, people just like found.
Hold on. Whoa.
Yeah.
You never say that.
There's a ton of.
Remove that from your lexicon. Just that one's.
You don't like. You don't like the McDonald's version of hell, bro?
No, just like you think of a better word.
It's like the McRib.
It's
like the McRib, but
say a word that I don't know instead. I think I prefer that. Yeah,
that's fair. All right, what the fresh hell? But they also did find like entire.
What's going on?
Yes.
What the loot crate?
No,
but they found entire. They found entire like. What is it? Parts of the map that are like situated outside of the playable area and everything in Shadow of the Colossus. But like Jaxler was saying, a lot of this had to do with them going, oh shit, we probably can't put this much in the game, so let's just shrink it down. I think also on the other side of the coin now, for games that are made now, so God of War Ragnarok was originally going to be a DLC for the original 2018 game.
Wow. Okay.
And so that actually got expanded into a full project. So that is like sort of on the other side of the coin of what we're talking about, where they technically cut a DLC from the game and then went, okay, we're going to actually just do this as a full game, and they expanded the scope of it. I'm actually trying to think of a game though recently where I felt like it could have been much more, at least one that was like released pretty recently.
I mean, I guess to like kind of narrow my scope and narrow my question, I guess like what I'm really asking is like, because like you're coming at like content of like, oh shit, we don't have enough time to like implement this, but like, I guess my question is, why don't I'm really only speaking about AAA developers here. I'm not really talking about like any of the other niggas, right? But like, why don't the AAA devs kind of like, as they're making the game and as they see that deadline coming, because they know the deadline's coming. It's not like they don't know, right? In most cases, I would assume they have at least, we want this game, like, their fucking stupid ass bosses, like, we want this by this date, or this area, right? Like, why don't they like narrow those scopes in order to like polish it more rather than just like releasing bug mess, or
it's not always up to the devs.
I'm not trying to like
devs, but
harp on the devs,
also,
but like that's just kind of what I'm asking.
The other thing too now, honestly,
is
like
it possible
in the modern
to narrow the scope, in order to do more
Well, I
polished
think
stuff?
that
Or is
it definitely is.
Okay.
it is, but also like I think the other side of the coin though is that like if you make a smaller and shorter game, then your game's gonna now be seen as worse.
True.
Yeah.
This game's
So-
only 36 hours. It's
Exactly.
ass.
I
Bro,
think it
that's
also
2
has to.
workdays.
I think it also has
That's
to
a whole
do
work
with the
week,
fact.
bro.
Exactly. I think it also has to do with the way that like because AAA game dev companies are structured a bit differently than even like AA or smaller studios. So let's like look at it from like the programmer side of it, for example. You have junior level programmers, maybe mid to senior level programmers, and then you have like whoever the director of the the engineering department is, right? So the way it kind of is structured is that junior devs kind of do and are delegated things to do, but they don't really have like a lot of agency into how to go to necessarily like if I'm trying to figure out a better way to phrase this. Typically the way it is like senior devs come up with the roadmap or like the playbook, and then they delegate a lot to juniors to execute, if that makes sense.
So the juniors
So
do the
it's-
work, and the seniors are the ideas.
The seniors
people.
also do the work.
I
The seniors
know,
also do
I'm
the
just
work.
being
Yeah, I know you're
annoying.
joking. So it's like it's complicated because the people who are determining the scope aren't necessarily the people who are going to actually be doing most of the labor that is representative of that project scope, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Because a lot of these more maybe senior devs or senior engineers aren't just like, because there's multiple different types of programming, for example, if we're sticking with programming, that go into a game. There's working on the game engine, there's working on graphics and shaders, there's working on language accessibility support, or like the actual gameplay, type of things, right? And so when there's that many moving parts, I mean, there's bound to be, obviously it's a human thing, so there's bound to be that. But there's also like, there's not an inherent predictability factor when it comes to planning scope, because sometimes you may give an estimate as to how long something might take you. But one of two things can happen. Either, oh shit, I figured it out, and now we have a lot more time than I thought that we allocated for. Or the much more common thing is, oh, this is a lot more fucking complicated than I had anticipated. And so the other thing too is it requires really fucking good communication. And people who are a lot of what happens is people who get really good at programming, get really good at those junior roles, get promoted into like more senior roles that are more about leadership. But they were never like taught those leadership and communication and production skills in school. They were good at the programming, the implementation, and now they have to think about delegation and people. And so that's often where a lot of the breakdown happens. When I went to grad school, I would roughly say, and ex-cogitator, if you're listening to this episode, feel free to chime in because we both went through the same program. Like 85 to 90% of what we learned in grad school was production, was how to delegate, work on a team, and be a leader. More than anything, more than like here's how to do advanced gameplay engine stuff or graphics program. Like those were obviously options, but it was like 80 to 90% of our time was figuring out how to actually produce something and be a producer and be kind of that communicator as opposed to, hitting the typers, right? And so that's a trend I see as kind of a common problem in AAA, where it's people who are, in order to advance their careers and, get a bag, and find themselves in these like leadership positions that aren't really suited to their skill set. Right? So I think that's where a lot of the problems start to come from, especially with AAA. Now, I think it's a bit different with like the smaller teams, because when the teams are smaller, you wear a bit more hats. And in order for a small team to even survive, because of how thin the margins are. You have to be able to communicate. It's just not possible otherwise. Right. So that was the Omega info dump, but I don't know if that like answers kind of what you were trying to get at. But that's just my perspective, I guess.
I mean, kind of. Sorry, I didn't know if Cosmic was going to jump in. It kind of answers it. Basically, the answer that I heard was these niggas cannot talk to each other, so they can't narrow the scope and time.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's exactly what Jack said in that sentence. So
word
he said
for
all
word.
of those words.
Word for fucking word.
Yeah, we actually have them clipped there. You know. Yeah, I was just wondering because like I feel like a lot more like. I mean, obviously, I see them more just because fucking Donkey just memes on half the games at launch.
Yeah.
But, like, it's still, like, you watch that and you're like, it's just almost laughable how, like, so much stuff is just not there. And you're like, I don't know, like, these guys have all the money in the world and they can't make a fucking game. You know what I mean? Like, obviously, it's not representative of, like, everyone. You know what I mean? But it is just
the unfortunate simple answer is it's usually the suits. A lot of
for sure.
It's not even just the produce. Like that's obviously what I described as a big part of it, but stakeholders is a big term that we used a lot in grad school. Is like who's actually like the product manager of this IP, or the investors who are like invested in the company, especially if it's a public facing company, right? Where it's like, oh, scope may change for the sake of promotion or marketing or generating hype, where it's like, oh, we need this feature to come out much sooner than we had scoped for because of XYZ, or because Jeff Keighley, if we don't suck his nuts right now, then our game's not going to sell. It's like
we need to deep those that man right now. Okay.
So sometimes it is kind of on the devs, but a lot of times it's like it's the suits. Because like
kind of a crime. Because like games are, I mean, they've always been expensive, but it's like, games are expensive. Like, don't you want to buy something where right when you get it, it's finished? Like, I guess you could just like wait. Like you could just like wait until all the updates are out.
15 years ago. Have you seen all the AI products, bro? Like they fucking none of them work, and they're like, don't worry, in 10 years, guys, just buy it now. In 10 years,
be all right.
It's definitely not a Ponzi scheme or a whatever it's called.
Exactly.
It's definitely not one of those
pyramid scheme.
Multi-level
pyramid
scheme.
Here we go.
I feel like it's kind of ironic that you did bring up this topic, because I feel like a game that like the first time that this kind of entire video game release sort of like system, like when I first noticed it, was with Animal Crossing New Horizons. Even though I know that it's happened before that, but it's ironic just because that update just came out.
Yeah.
Because when the game first released, there was like, I mean, there was a fair bit to do, but like they wanted to like make things come out during like holiday events or whatever update. And so then it was like over time, like the lifespan of the game was sort of like diminished because it took too long for everything to be released. And then people kind of lost interest.
In some ways, yeah. But it's like, because like games as a service, and what I mean by that is like
League of Legends,
Fortnite, these games that are designed to be a component of your life have really kind of poisoned the way that games are thought about and designed, where it's about like longevity. And that's maybe a big reason why you don't see cut content, because it's like, well, instead of cutting the content and leaving it there, let's hold on to what we have and just release it as part of a later update or patch or DLC.
Just add it later.
Which
and
like, old DLC,
which is a really weird like mentality shift, I think, on the behalf of consumers, but I think it also is like a framing thing too.
It is.
Like the thing too, right, is that like people consider it like an insult now if somebody doesn't like support their game after launch. And it's just like, and they're like, well, I just want to play more and I want to buy more to play with this game more. But at the same time, like, during the 7th gen, if your game had DLC, people were like, oh, so you didn't finish it then. So then why did I pay $60?
Yeah.
I remember famously, like, Dead Space 3, people considered, like the devs have said that they considered, like, the Awakening DLC or the Awakened DLC, like, the ending or something like that.
Yeah.
And it was, like, $24.99 or something for, like, 2 or 3 hours worth of like an ending
content.
And I think that also the regular ending of Dead Space 3 is fine, as well. But the note that it ends on is much more dramatic, I think. And so people got pretty rightfully upset, like, well, why did we pay this much for just an additional chapter? And if they had come out and said this was the intended ending, but we didn't have enough time to do this,
or resources,
didn't have enough funds to do it without releasing the game first, then I think people would have been a lot more
sympathetic.
Sympathetic about it. But it was just like, okay, well, this is the ending now. Yeah. But now, if that had happened now, people would be like, people probably wouldn't bat an eye about it, same way that like Callisto Protocol, the Final Transmission DLC was like pretty. It was like that was very much like the end of that game, because there was originally, I think, supposed to be more games in the Callisto Protocol universe, but then the game did not do very well, didn't review very well. I don't remember if it sold very well or not, but it was also an insanely expensive game for how well it did not do and how it reviewed. So they made the Final Transmission DLC. I don't remember if it was planned or not, but that essentially did cut everything off there, and it does pretty much leave no room for you to go into another game with that character, at least. But now, like, they released that, and people pretty much didn't bat an eye about it. They were like, "Oh, okay, that's the end. All right, cool." And I think that was also, and that's essentially actually let me look this up, because there is some weird fuck shit with Callisto Protocol that I kind of turned an eyebrow.
I mean, I think it's also a thing too, to answer my own question here, because I just thought about it. I feel like they probably don't cut content in order to make more money, to make margins, to just shove it into a DLC, right? It's just like, oh, how do we charge more for a game?
Okay.
Oh, we're going to crucify it at the cross like Mario Kart did. People still bought it anyway, though. But they're going to get crucified at the cross if they increase their prices. They're like, well, let's just make a DLC, and then we're not increasing prices. We're just making another $15. Like, you know what I mean?
Okay, and Final Transmission.
A lot of it is psychology, consumer psychology. Is a big part of it.
Yeah.
Final Transmission was $14.99, and I think people were like pretty sure about it. Like in terms of being like, well, I really didn't want to have to pay for the final chapter of this game. But I think if the game were better received and it were more well liked, probably wouldn't have batted an eye over $14.99.
I also
much like how
a DLC,
now,
like the Dead Space 3 thing, when you said it was 20, I was like, whoa, 24.
It was a lot. Yeah.
I feel like the max for a DLC has got to be 15. I feel like if you go over that, you're out of your damn mind.
Right.
Like, you know,
it might have been actually.
It's a
it might have actually been less than that, but I need to actually take a look at it, because I'm seeing it now on Steam for $9.99. So
because part of it too is it is a psychology thing, because you look at like an MMO, for example, where people will just buy the next expansion. Right? Where it doesn't feel like emotionally, it doesn't feel like that. It's just like, it's the presentation thing. It's why people freak out about like games being $70, but they'll buy all these fucking DLCs because they see it, even though they're ending up over time.
I must have been thinking
money.
I think I might have actually been thinking about fighting game season passes, because the Dead Space Awakened DLC is $9.99. So this is actually something else too so Jaxler was talking about consumer psychology. So back in like 7th gen and 6th gen as well, for fighting games, they would release title updates. So for example, the first version of BlazBlue was called Calamity Trigger, and then the second version was called Continuum Shift, and then there was Continuum Shift Extend, and then Chrono Phantasma Extend, and then Central Fiction. So they had different versions of this game, right, over many years. And they would add or remove system mechanics, rebalance characters, add in new characters as part of these updates. And people were like, well, why am I paying for the same game over again? But also they were like expanding the story, so you weren't just paying for the same game every time. But at the same time, like now, and they were charging only like $40 for these entire new like title updates and stuff for a lot of games. And now people go, oh, well, this is way, like the seasons that we have now are way better than just buying a whole other game. And it's like, well, if they're getting you for the $35 season pass for the new characters every year, then you're not actually saving more money.
No.
Because the title updates would come out way less frequently than yearly. You're actually spending more money now. People like talk a lot about, oh, I want accessibility in fighting games, and they don't mean, or they're definitely not looking at the fucking price tag for the entire cast in most of them. People will be like, oh yeah, this fighting game is
Smash 4 or Smash Ultimate.
Yeah, people will be like, oh, this fighting game is accessible because the combos are easy. And I'm like, brother, you got to pay $120 to be able to train against the entire cast. And it's like sicko
I
mode.
miss when you just bought, like, this is what I don't like about subscriptions and stuff either. I miss when you could just buy one thing one time and then it's yours. And there's no like subscription noodling. There's no like other DLC to I'm talking about in general. I'm kind of getting out of video games here.
Yeah.
Or like, oh, like I bought this Apple phone, but I can only fix it at Apple stores with Apple wrenches and screws
That's always
and like
kind
all
of
that
been
other
an Apple thing. To be
The
fair.
problem is that you're disincentivized from making something good that you'll never need to replace.
Yeah,
and
that's
that goes
true.
with a lot
Planned
of things.
obsolescence. Yeah, like
'Cause it's
I actually like today I got my 360 copy of Anarchy Reigns in, and I just like put it into the Xbox to test it, and I was like, cool, it's good to go. But now it's like if I'm and like the PS2 games are the same, you know, where I just put it in there and it's like, all right, we're good to go. I just get to play my game.
That's a Blue Sky Club.
Like, true. And I didn't think about it while I was saying it, but anyway.
We're good to go after he puts it in. Let's go, guys.
But like yesterday, I started Kingdom Hearts Birth by Sleep, and why are you doing that?
I'm doing what? I don't know what you're talking about.
Why are you holding a gun?
Don't worry about it. Continue.
Go on.
Yeah, you got it.
Anyway, so you're just gonna flash the cuck lock in my face? So,
What?
But anyway,
Where does
so
the
I
cuck
started
come
Kingdom
from?
Hearts Birth by Sleep.
If your wife doesn't get fucked, the run is over.
You're real.
If you can't
is a
finish,
cuck
you
lock
have
just
to
pimping out your
reset.
wife?
No, I was gonna say cuck lock is if he can't finish, then you have to reset.
So what? You have to get your hands dirty? Is
Jackson's
that
version
what
was funnier.
You might.
Jackson's version
That's
was
fair.
funnier.
Anyway,
You're making
That was
this
a better
worse,
joke.
Cosmic.
I was trying to make it worse.
I'm gonna call
you're
his
right.
wife.
So anyway,
Sorry.
So anyway,
W
I started-
Flip Farm, I guess. Jesus Christ.
I started.
The most intentional
I started
flip
Kingdom
W
Hearts
cuck
Birth.
farm. W cuck
True.
farming.
So I started Kingdom Hearts Birth by Sleep last night, and I like just put in the
sorry.
disc. And I've played so many like 6th and 7th gen games recently that I forgot about the mandatory install period for most modern games.
Yeah, you have
And
to
I was
download
like,
the rest of the game because it's not actually on the disc anymore.
well, I got to. Well, you're installing the disc into the
The
onto
system.
the hard drive or whatever
Yeah.
onto the system so that it loads better and all that. So the game is actually on the disc, but I was like, well, I gotta wait 15 minutes, bro. And then I was like, okay, finally I can actually play now. Good grief.
That's why I've fallen in love with like OG Xbox soft modding, because I can just like have like a dumped like file of like a OG Xbox game, like Vex for example, and just like via Ethernet connection, just send that shit, and it fucking downloads to the OG box, and it's fucking awesome.
That is fire.
That is pretty good.
It's
Wait,
pretty fucking.
yeah.
I
fire.
might steal that from you. Not
I
like
will-
your
I can-
console, but like just that. That seems
Dude,
pretty
I'm
cool.
gonna steal it from
soft modding my OG Xbox was one of the best ideas I've ever come up
Dude,
with. That
speaking
shit
of
is-
like piracy, guys, I was trying to pirate Sonic Unleashed the other day. It is actually easier to not pirate that game than it is because like you could just like fucking put it on a USB stick and just put it on your computer. Like because like the Xbox 360 just has a disk drive, and so you could just like
Yeah.
do that.
Yeah.
It takes like 2 seconds.
it just works.
True.
Yeah. Anyway, I wasted about 40 minutes downloading an ISO the other day when I could have just did that because I owned the game, but I just didn't want to get up
Well-
and go to the closet right there.
Well, that's one of the nice things. That's one of the nice things too about the OG Xbox soft mod stuff I was talking about is like you put in a disc and then you can just like copy the files off of it to make it into like a dumped ISO, pretty much just like that. Yeah, and it's really
funny.
Nice.
That is fire.
Like I have everything I need to soft mod my Xbox, except like because you need like a USB that's like properly formatted or whatever, right? I think if I recall correctly,
you can. There's a really easy way to create one of those that.
Yeah.
So
really?
Yes. So here, let me find the.
There we go. Well, I mean, we don't.
But
need a tutorial.
it's like I have. It's just funny that I've had all the tools and they're sitting right there, and I've just still never done it. But because I was going to be like,
I can give you the gist though. So it's like you basically take
tutorial tips, Jaxler.
There's like a controller input to like USB type of thing.
Yeah, I got
it. Did my headphones just fucking die?
Penis.
Well, really yeah, no, my headphones are just dead.
Well, okay,
you know what?
Now he doesn't hear me saying anything.
Nestani's talking. You got this, buddy. I'll be right back. Hold on, just 1 second.
Yeah, I was just gonna say.
Got this.
You know, to Cole's point, guys, I like to function by the concept of if buying isn't owning, piracy isn't stealing. Just think about that, guys. Just have a little think can in your brain can.
You're kind of truthing right now, to be honest.
Because I'm just saying.
Let's download all of Spotify right now.
Maybe don't do that and publicize it and brag about it. That is a little crazy. I still can't believe they did that.
All right,
that's like a little far of piracy. I mean, I don't know yet, but all I know is that like they pirated that, and now like I'm just concerned that like books are just gonna get fucking.
I mean, what are you talking about? Mr. CEO of Spotify, hello, nice to see you here.
Honestly, just take down the music, leave the books, bro. Just don't I'm just afraid they're gonna get everything's gonna be Armageddon on them. To be honest, after the Spotify shit.
Yeah,
that's what I didn't like personally.
It's gonna
I'm
burn.
Like, dude, you're putting in jeopardy the rest of the shit that's like actually important.
It's like the Library of Alexandria getting burned down.
Literally,
wait, are we talking about the Internet Archive or
Anna's Archive? Yeah, because they downloaded all of Spotify. I'm like, why? No one asked. Like the books were fine, because that's like actually useful because. Fucking schools want to charge you $60, $100 for like a book, or you could just acquire it for the amount of time that you need, and then
knowledge
leave it. Yeah, instead of just like an endless cash grab, so that the fucking school bookstore can get a kickback credit on your purchase. Like, what are we doing? Like,
exactly
making calls. Anyway,
teach me, Jaxler.
We don't have to teach live on
we don't have to do this right now.
Podcast,
well,
we afterwards. You know what I mean?
I'm
just saying
live gaming tutorial.
More interesting if we didn't.
All the comments are being like, no, I will never know.
The problem is I'm really bad at saying no
use
to
the Google
people.
search bar. You'll figure it out.
Wait a minute, I can be helpful. No, it's not that bad. I figured it out.
If Jax can figure it out, you can figure it out, because that guy...
Well, I did replace a PS2 laser, so I'm not always the best metric for shit like that.
Yeah.
Then again, you have people like my brother who literally boots up a laptop and then it fucking explodes in his lap, and he didn't even do anything. I love him and other people as well, but it's just like I don't understand like how people can be so, like, especially our generation, like so tech illiterate.
Yeah, imagine.
Right? Yeah, Cole.
Oh my god.
How could they be?
Yeah.
Well, at least you can video edit. At least you can play pretend. But
damn, he said play pretend.
You know how it's like watching someone who's never ice skated before, step onto the rink, or where they're just slipping around and then they fucking fall over on their face.
Yeah,
you gotta fall a few times to stay on your feet.
Yeah, but people are too afraid of fucking failure these days, and it's embarrassing.
Well, I mean, that's a whole different situation.
That is a whole different thing. But there's definitely my mom is not afraid of failing, but she sucks at using a computer. She's like
some of it
she doesn't know how to use the back arrow. I swear.
Some of it is a matter of growing up speaking the language of certain interfaces, right? I was taught how to type on a keyboard in school, and I was drilled on that shit. I'm good at video games because I've been playing video games since I could breed. Right? So it's
it sounded like you said breed there for a second, but I'm just gonna let that go. I just want to say that I don't buy that. I just think that people just don't want to learn. Like people are
That is
like, this
also a
is
huge
just
part
too
of it.
annoying. I don't want to learn this. Here, you just do this.
You do it,
My mom literally came in my room earlier and said, "Hey, can you back up these files for me?" And I'm like, "Mom, you just hit the copy button and then move it to the hard drive." Okay, it literally happened right before the podcast. Why can't you just learn? But some people just don't want to learn, and that's okay. But also,
in Jaxler's defense, though, I do feel like if you when you're a kid,
I'm not disagreeing with Nestani, by the way. Let's be clear.
Yeah.
I think that is.
I mean, I agree
no one
with you.
should disagree with me because I'm right.
Yeah,
and
right.
I'm not even
always.
That's true. That's 100% true.
Perpetually.
Yep. Say a fact right now.
Chicago's
That's
in Indianois. Kentucky.
Yes.
Chicago's
I thought you were going to say
Kentucky.
Italy. I'm not going to lie. I thought you were going to say Chicago's in Italy, and I was about to
Chicago's in Italy.
Dude, it's not my
Italians
fault.
would be
There's
very upset.
like two I
if you
states
said
right
that.
next to each other. What do you want me to do? Is it fucking Illinois or Indiana? I need
It's
to write
Illinois.
this down.
Oh my
It's
god, you
Illinois.
forgot again!
Illinois.
This fucking.
I'm writing this
oh my
down.
Oh,
goodness.
that's funny.
Chicago equals Illinois. There, I wrote it on my
Put it in
notes.
the fucking show
But
notes.
anyway,
Jesus.
so I'm not even saying, because I've heard this with language learning, where it's easier to learn a language when you're a kid than you're an adult. Which that's not what I'm really saying. But growing, but when you're growing up and you kind of are eased into it, for some reason helps it reinforce better. You get more reinforced with the knowledge.
But I'm not talking about the speed. I don't care if you're not I'm very tech literate. It doesn't matter if you're not as fast as me. But when you're just here, you do it instead of learning how to do
that's more of
thing.
an attitude. That's more of an attitude thing than
that's what I'm saying. People
thing.
don't want to learn how to interface with the new technology. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And I think that is the problem. And I don't think that has anything to do with age. I think older people do that. I think younger people do that. They're like, I don't want to.
I don't know. I feel like with
it
kids,
annoys them because it's something that they don't know how to do, right? So even if they're the age of your brother or the age of grandma, you know what I mean? Some people are just I just don't want to deal with this. And
I mean, and there's no incentive for them to learn.
I guess, but also, I don't know. For me, I just don't buy that because I think that if I was 60 and there was some newfangled technology that I didn't know about, well, first of all, I'm probably going to be a nerd my whole life, but I would probably figure it out. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
I wouldn't just maybe I would dismiss it. Who knows? Maybe guys come back to the podcast in 60 years and we're still doing this.
Because that's the thing as well. There's a difference between being tech literate and being a power user as well. Because it's you don't need to be a power user, but it's just
But knowing how to move a file from one place to another, knowing how to. And that's not to say because
dribble the ball.
I'll use an actual example. My mom has been having a lot of troubles with Google Photos because they do the automatic backup thing. And if you ever try to turn off the backup, it fucking tries to turn it back on, and it gives you a misleading pop-up, which highlights the thing in blue that says "turn on backup" rather than "keep back off." So it's really easy to hit the thing to turn it back on. And so we've been kind of having this back and forth ritter of keep that shit off, and then you won't have any storage problems. You know what I mean? Because I've given her a hard drive, and I'm hey, move all your photos here, boom, 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 boom. Also, every once in a while, come give it to me. I'll back it up on my stuff, and so then we can keep all of the family stuff and whatever. But it's just simple things of just and I get it to some extent, but also I'm it's just moving a file, man. It's literally all the information's on the screen. All you have to do is just take 30 seconds, read it. It doesn't matter if it takes you 30 seconds, a minute, 5 minutes. You just.
It's also a practice thing. That's also part of it. And famously, people hate practicing.
We're talking about practice.
We're talking about practice. Because when you really click with something, it's the same thing where if it's you really click with math, it doesn't feel like a chore or practice to keep messing with it, right? Because you get it. It brings you this sense of satisfaction because it comes to you naturally, right? But when it's not like that, for example, for me with drawing or art, it's just it's a lot more deliberate if it doesn't come to you naturally. This is why I also feel like people who do like IT tech related stuff, well, that field will never die, just because of what we described, because people don't want to do it.
Nope.
You know, in the same
Dude,
in the same way, a lot of
getting
people
tricked out by this technology company. I'm like, I know more than the people that they have on their staff, 100,000%. And I'm like, this is criminal. But it's not my job. I'm not paying for this. I'm not getting paid. I just show up. You know what I mean? But it is funny because it's also like they don't know anything, so it's like really easy to trick them out on something that like they don't need or like whatever. And like it's also very easy for that field to be malicious. But hey, who isn't at this point?
I don't know. It was in a weird, like, kind of a turning point for me, because like I think a lot of times, especially when you do stuff like that, or like have a thing like, you know, technology or art, for example, and it's just like, oh yeah, this is just like basic shit. It like you don't realize or have perspective for how much of an outlier you are until, like, if that makes sense, right? Where it's just like, oh yeah, no, you just drag the file over. It's like simple, but like, it weirdly became like a thing of confidence for me, even though I feel like, oh, this is a thing that everyone should know type of thing. Apparently that's just not the fucking case. And apparently that's something I should, whether it's something I should celebrate or something that I should be devastated about the human condition about, you know, it's like one of those things, right? But it's like,
yeah, I mean, I think case in point, like, not to like rag on Cole or like dig his own grave for him, but like Cole is much better at using computers now than like when I first met him, right? Because he was willing to try, he was willing to learn, and now he can like do most things without my help. You know what I mean? Some things he needs to still do, you know what I mean? But like, I think by and large, it's just like, he has never asked me like one question about video editing pretty much ever since he like started. You know what I mean? Because guess what? He just uses google.com to answer his shit. Crazy.
Well, people don't even.
Yeah, some people don't even really know how to navigate.
People don't know how to use. They don't know how to use Google also, in the sense they don't know how to ask Google questions the right way. There's a way you have to do it.
Because it's SEO language, and that's like search engine optimization is completely different. Like tangent, and I'm not even talking about that. But now it's even worse because now there's the AI fucking bullshit. So now you don't have to do
AI
that.
overview.
And now since you don't have to learn SEO, now there's just no world that you can find legit. Anyway, I'm not gonna nightmare spiral, but I want a nightmare spiral, and I won't.
I will say too, like, so Nestani recently, he recently said that it was weird to him that like some people just don't, like, they forget subscriptions that are coming out of their account. And so I had to tell him, like, you really don't know the half of it, because working at a financial institution, you begin to understand just how much people do not pay attention to, like,
I mean, that's the whole conceit of Rocket Money, isn't it? Like that fucking thing I see ads for everywhere. Like, like that's their whole fucking business model.
There's a whole thing, like, there's been multiple times where people have come in and they go, oh, well, so I got a call from your fraud department, and and I'll say, I'll try and preempt it, and I'm like, oh, so do we need to get you a new card today? And they'll say, well, they locked my card, but then I remembered that it was a legitimate purchase that I made, so I need my card unlocked. And I went, well, that's unfortunate, because now that the card has been locked for fraud, we got to get you a new one. And then they're like, what, you can't just reactivate it? I'm like, no.
That's not how locking works.
Because you've told us.
To be fair, I think they should change the term lock. I think that is misleading because it means that you can unlock it. And so
I typically use like,
that's what the girls say,
typically use the phrase like, because I was using lock for layman's terms, but I typically like say to the customer, they've shut down the card, or they've rendered it ineffective, like they have rendered it not usable. In our, like, on the inside, we call it
bomb.
We call it, they've marked it a hot card. So basically, it's just not usable.
I think that's also a bad term. I think they should just say that
we
blew up
fire.
this. We deactivated we deactivated it, or we blew up this card with a bomb. You know what I mean? It's disintegrated. It's annihilated. We should use more words. Like, do you want to annihilate your card?
Wait, even better, you say you retired it. Because you can't just come out of retirement.
Say you retired it. Yeah, the card's retired.
anything other than lock, because lock implies unlock. You know what I mean? That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
So I think kind of valid.
It does. But so
anyway,
I'll tell them actually with the way that our
money leaves
with the way that our thing, it is pretty crazy. I mean, the other thing too that honestly is that like, there are times where people come in and they don't remember their password for the online banking.
Fair enough.
And they'll say, "Hang on." So they'll say, "Well, I'll need you to."
Arnold Holt, like, yo.
They'll be like, "I need you to reset my password," and so I'll go ahead and reset it for them. And then they'll be like, "Can you set it for me? Can you set the new one for me?" No, I can't know that for security purposes. No, absolutely not.
I think his brain is turned off.
And the other part too is that I'll say, so in the future, if you haven't locked yourself out of the online banking, if you have locked yourself out, you have to come in. But if you haven't locked, or you have to call in. But if you haven't locked yourself out, there's this neat little forgot password button on the app that you can use to do it.
Sonny's going to turn into the Joker.
There are some times where people come in and they'll say, "Oh yeah, I just need to transfer some money between two of my accounts." Well, we do have an app, or do you have the app? No, I don't do online banking.
Well,
you could have saved yourself a whole ass trip to the financial institution and just clicked some buttons on your phone. Why are you charging me a paper statement? Well, on our online app, you can opt out of that, actually. Oh, well, I don't do online banking. Okay, well, then you're going to have to just do the paper statement. People
I just
do not.
Nestani's about to start swinging.
The other thing, too, so one of my favorite, one of my favorite interactions. One of my favorite interactions is this guy put in a dispute, and it was for it was disputing some charges on an AI chatbot, right? And the guy seemed pretty lonely, and it was like girlfriend AI chatbots, and I was like, okay, yeah, this checks out. So maybe he did one of these, but maybe because it was two different companies, right? Or it was two different like types of chatbots or whatever, two different little AI girlfriends. That is so dystopian
that is even a scenario.
And so he comes in and, he's put in the dispute and he says, "Hey, I'm just wondering for an update on it." And I go, "Okay, cool." I bring up the dispute and I say, "Well, they did return some of these transactions, but it turns out that, they found out that you had authorized these ones, willfully. So they didn't refund the full amount." And he went, "Does that make any sense to you? Why would they refund some, but not all of them?" Because they're from two different companies, and I really wanted to say to him, so what I said to him was, it's because it's from two different companies or two different programs and like two different transaction types. So there was tokens for ones that like you clearly had authorized, and then the other one you clearly hadn't. But what I really wanted to say was, they were two different girlfriends, dude. Like
that's funny.
I wanted to say there's two different girlfriends, dude. Like
that's just
it's not hard to figure it out. And he was just like, "Okay," and I'm like, "Yeah, okay." There's also some people that don't realize that like we can't just us at the credit union, we can't just like give you your money back if the company. My favorite part is when people go, "Oh, well, this company sent me a defective product. I need you to get my money refunded." Have you attempted to reach out to them? No. I thought I could just come here.
What the fuck are you here for?
Do we look like that company?
Yeah, do we look like that company? Like the other thing too is like it'll be Amazon sometimes, and I'll say to members like it is ridiculously easy to do a refund with Amazon.
Dude, you could literally flush your Amazon package down the toilet, go find it in the sewer, click return, and they'll take it. Like,
yeah, it's ridiculously easy. But my favorite part is when people say, "Oh, I bought this off the TikTok shop," and I'm like,
nice.
There was your first mistake.
Yeah, you downloaded TikTok.
Yeah.
Your
Honor.
This is not to like vindicate people who buy something or like think that they're buying a thing, that one thing, and then they're like, "Oopsie, it's a subscription," right? My thing is, how do you not know you're buying a subscription for fucking like a bajillion? Like, do you not just look at your bank account? Do you not see the money leaving your fucking account?
People just don't pay attention.
How?
They don't, dude. I'm going to tell you.
How?
I'm here to tell you. They don't.
How?
Because that shit will happen, and then like 2 weeks later, they're in my office, and they're like, I just noticed this thing that happened. And so my favorite part is when they'll say, this company just took this money out of my account. And I'll say, okay, so let's take a look. And I'll be like, okay, do you want to file a dispute? And they'll say, yeah, of course, absolutely. You know, I didn't authorize this. And I'll say, okay, so I can put it in as fraud. And then I type in the name of the company into the transaction history. And there's like 5 instances of that shit in there, bro.
Yep.
And it's just like,
so
you didn't notice this for like 5 months, bro? Like, speaking less about my job and more about me, like personally, I keep like logs of all my transactions like all the time, and I am constantly checking my online banking for anything that I do, because I'm like, I will buy something online that is like not on Amazon, and I'm like double checking my transactions for the next like week to make sure nothing shady is going on, right? Like, even when I buy off of like a key seller that's an official like publisher partner, like Fanatical or something, I'm like, all right, let's just make sure they didn't do nothing fucking weird, you know?
I just don't understand when people just don't look at their account. I just don't like.
Yeah, like people do not look at their account.
If you got for 1 month, 2 months max. Maybe you just were like a little lazy and just didn't read a quick like.
I think the worst that I've seen is that when something has happened for like a year, finally somebody noticed it. Somebody finally noticed it for like a
fucking year. Yeah.
Oh my
god!
Bro, turned off his computer.
Hello, darkness, my old friend.
Yeah, dude. I think he blew up his house. He finally.
I think people should just give me their money instead.
I mean, I have been saying this.
I'll keep better care of it. Clearly,
my favorite too also is when like somebody has like an Amazon transaction come out and it's up for a lot, right? And they'll go, I haven't bought anything on there recently, and I'll go, well, do you have Prime? And they're like, yeah, but they haven't like taken that out for like a year.
Yearly subscription, kill yourself.
And I'm like,
did you guys take like a finance class in school or anything like that? Or
I'm just poor.
I did.
So I'm just aware.
It's just crazy that it's like I took one personal finance class, and everything that you've said, it like my personal finance class talked about like investing or whatever, but like this is just like I feel like this should just be common sense. Like this, I don't know. It's surprising.
You'd be surprised how uncommon common sense is.
Yeah.
I mean, part of what Nestani was talking about too is it's like, we were talking about with game dev with the margins being so slim, like when you don't have as much, like the margins are a lot slimmer, so you can't really afford not to, at least you would think.
I bet all the people talk in the goddamn credit union are those fuckers making the games. Like, Jesus Christ.
Well, probably not at that credit union, I'm going to tell you that much.
They don't know how to deal with
There's
their
not a
own
lot
money.
of tech literate people. I think probably the most that I've looked at somebody with pity, though, when it comes to this stuff, is when I was working at a different credit union. And there was a guy that, number one, it is insane to me how many people just don't know how to use their own phone. But like this guy could not log into his online banking. And I said, well, I can reset the password and you can log in. And he just like tries to shuffle it off to me so I can do it. He did it in such like the most just, he like kept trying to like shove it back at me and looking at me like he was like Puss in Boots from Shrek,
The like fishbowl eyes.
Yeah.
That's such a good fucking visual.
And I was just like, I thought to myself like, this man somebody's going to steal his money.
Yeah.
Just one day.
No, that's
his money. His money is going to be taken from him, and they're going to be, and he's going to be like, "Did you figure it out?" And they're going to be like, "Yep." At least you won't have to worry about it anymore. You won't have to worry about how much money's in your account because you won't have any in there anymore.
Dude, it's like the fucking that guy's gonna get scammed. Like those phone call scams. Yeah.
This is how people like get scammed, is because they just don't know and they refuse to engage with technology. And it is like just so damning the amount of times, right? So Nestani, I'm gonna need you to
you're gonna need to get out. You need to get out of your depressive phone. We need you to lock in.
There's people that get scammed like 3 times by the same scam.
It's sad.
Yeah,
it's sad.
And I mean, like, part of it is that scammers are quite
persuasive.
What's it called? They're quite persuasive and they're quite knowledgeable. But also, if you had any idea about how tech worked, then you would realize that most of these. I don't remember if I told you all this story. Is there was this guy that brought in his phone, and there was like, this was a time when there was like a bunch of clickable links were going around.
Oh, phishing links, yeah.
Yeah, phishing links. So this guy says to me, he comes in and he's got his phone. And he's like, "Are you all sending around this text message? What is this bogus link that I clicked?" And I went, and I said, well, actually, it's not ours, so you probably need to get your phone checked out. And my favorite is him going, "No, I'll show you." Opens the text message back up and clicks the link again.
What is wrong with you?
Oh my God.
Bro's like, "Why is this bear trap here? And it's set. And I stepped in it. Let me show you again."
He was like, "It doesn't even go anywhere anymore." And I was like, "Well, sir, we're going to need to get you a new debit card now."
Yeah.
And you're probably going to need to, we're going to probably have to lock down your online banking.
You're right.
And also, you're going to need to get your phone checked out.
It's over.
Yeah, it's so Jover.
Guys,
it's Jover.
I have an announcement.
Uh-oh.
It's me, Ryan in Theory, or twitch.tv/Ryan in Theory. And honestly, I can't approve of this crap. This sucks.
That's going to be the end of the podcast. we're done for today.
He's just like, bro, time to get me the fuck out of here.
Does anyone have anything they want to shout out before we go?
Yes. So this weekend I will be in Chicago, not Chicago, Italy, Chicago, Illinois.
I never said Italy. I just want that to be fair.
True. He did not.
Yeah.
I only said Michigan.
Cole did. So, okay. So not in Chicago, Michigan either. But I will be in Chicago, Illinois for Frosty Faustings, the fighting game tournament. I've entered a bunch of things, and I hope to not go 0-2. That is really my only goal.
That's the hope.
And I will let everybody know kind of how that went when I go back, or when I come back. Next week, I will be back in time for the podcast on Tuesday.
Yeah.
So, the podcast recording on Tuesday.
Yeah, you cannot get rid of him. He will be here every week.
I may try to record some cool stuff. We'll see how much time I actually have, plus the time that the people that I plan to pull aside may have.
Oh shit!
Don't worry, everybody. I'm not going to try and pull Leffen aside for like 3 minutes.
Please do. I think that would be good.
Please do. Yeah, I really do think that it would be generational. If I could get Leffen to say, "Even though nobody asked, we delivered."
That would be good. I'm just saying,
God.
you should get him to do that. I'm just saying, you should find him.
Think about it. I might consider it.
You should find Leffen and hunt him down.
Yeah,
we'll see. I don't even actually know if he's going to Frosties, to be honest.
Who knows?
Yeah, but it'll be fun. It's gonna be. I don't have anything that I'm competing in until Friday, which will be Marvel 3.
Friday.
For some reason, so if DNF Duel didn't have a bracket on Sunday, I wouldn't have signed up for anything on Sunday. But I was like, man, I really want to play DNF Duel. So that'll be fun.
Understandable.
And I hope to try. I will give my review of Deep Dish Pizza as well when I get back.
Go to Giordano's. That's the place. I'll give you
Giordano's. How do you spell that?
I'll remember after this episode's over.
All right.
Hold on. Wait.
Fair
hold
enough.
on. Keep talking.
Anyone have anything else?
Yeah. Is that it?
Nope. Not me.
Not him. Jaxler.
Jax, how about you?
Are you doing anything with your life?
Well, that
I don't know
depends
why I
on
had
who
to
you
say that.
ask. Depends
Are
on
you
who
an
ask.
icebreaker?
I'm not an icebreaker. I did not sign up for it, but that will be happening this weekend. So
yeah, icebreaker. I do want to shout that out. At the icebreaker marathon that's happening this weekend.
Isn't that the raid thing? Where everyone's raiding each other.
Yeah,
no,
everyone's giving everyone their sloppy seconds.
No, that's. Oh wow, I didn't like the phrasing of that. No, it's like an actual just like weekend speedrun marathon.
Oh, okay.
In support of
my bad.
So not legal relief funds.
Yeah, support for Minneapolis and Minnesota.
So, there's that one which you should support. Yeah, fuck that.
And that'll be on the RR Lat, I believe. The RR Lat channel.
Really, really long-a-thon.
I actually wanted to start this podcast with a bit where I crushed a piece of ice in my hand, but I don't think I'm strong enough to do that, so I didn't do it. But I think it would have been fire. Well, maybe more.
Well, it would have been ice,
water.
but
it would have been cold.
Yeah, it would have been cold.
It would have been water, which would have been wet.
Yeah.
True. Okay, I see now.
But you should definitely support that marathon.
Awesome.
But there's also the sloppy seconds going on too. So,
whoa.
I mean the raidathon thing.
Oh, that already ended.
Oh, that already ended.
Yeah, the
the
Wild Ride
are over.
raid train.
Yeah, that's
that
over.
one's done.
That was wild. I did partake in that, and which was.
Who'd you give your
Partake in
sloppy
the
seconds?
sloppy seconds?
No, the raid train.
Oh my god!
Can I get a clip of Jaxler saying I did in fact participate in the sloppy seconds?
I did not know mods.
Go ahead, say it. You got it.
Mods release the Kraken.
Come on, say that you participated in the sloppy seconds. Who did you give your sloppy seconds to, Jax?
Hey, this feels like harassment. This feels like sexual harassment.
Anyway, bye.
Get
See
out
you
of
next
here.
time.
I'm not. Go
Keep
away.
your sloppy seconds to yourself, chat.